So I remember that 30 seconds of Avengers Infinity War where Chris Pratt starts doing his Thor impersonation. I hope you want an entire movie of that because today we're talking about Onward. That's entirely the voice he's doing.
Pretty much.
It is, but it works. It works.
Yeah.
So this movie, it's a very interesting idea, and it's an idea that I've always loved whenever people try and do it, except for Bright, which was terrible. But it's basically, this was a magical world. It was like a Lord of the Rings or Dungeons and Dragons style world where there were elves and fairies and orcs and goblins and every single other mythical creature out there in this big fantasy landscape. But, eventually one day somebody invented technology and it was easier than magic. And technology continued to grow until eventually the world just became what it is for us today.
Yeah, it's just us, but they're just mythological creatures instead of humans.
Yeah, and they do a lot of good jokes with that because Chris Pratt's character in here is a big fan of, it's not Dungeons and Dragons, but it's Dungeons and Dragons. And he says that this is not like what Dungeons and Dragons is in our world, where it is a fantasy board game. This is like a historical board game. This would be like if somebody made a board game out of like Washington crossing the Delaware or something. And I like that because you look at him and you think, okay, so he's meant to be that, that stereotypical Dungeons & Dragons player. I'm not saying all Dungeons & Dragons players are like that, not at all, but it is the stereotype that's often presented out there of, the grown guy living in his parents' basement. Mom, stop playing with my fingers, like that kind of a character. Except that in the context of this world, it's more like he's a history buff.
Yeah.
And I kind of dug that. But what this story is about is that it follows Tom Holland's character. Do you remember his name?
I think it was Ian?
Sure.
Yeah, and Chris Pratt's character was named Barley.
Yes, okay, that one I definitely remember. But yeah, so it follows Ian and Barley. And Ian, he's
the younger brother. He's like
he's like the run of the litter.
Very.
He's the scrawny little guy. He is turning 16.
He's basically Tom Holland.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's the character Tom Holland
always plays. Yes. Let's just put it that way.
Because if you ever see Tom Holland in real life,
yeah,
that dude is jacked.
Honestly, he has to be in order to play Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I heard he was going to be playing Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movie, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Have you seen Nathan Drake? And then like somebody showed me like a photo of Tom Holland in like a skin tight shirt. And I was just like, that dude could climb up a mountain with just his bare hands. All right, sure, I can see it. This movie, it is about Ian. He is kind of the scrawny little nervous guy, and he's kind of embarrassed by his older brother. But one day, they find out that their dad, who passed away before Ian was even born, when he was dying, he started looking into magic. And he found this spell that could bring someone back from the dead for one day. And they decided, all right, we're going to use this spell to try and bring him back just for one day. And Ian finds out that he's the one who actually has magic in him.
Yes,
he is connected to the world of magic. But Barley's the one who knows all about magic. So now the two of them kind of team up to go on this journey to find this gem that could actually resurrect their dad for one day. Because they try and do it. They try and bring him back. But the spell falls apart halfway through.
Yeah.
So they only resurrect the bomb have him. So it's kind of a weird Weekend at Bernie's style film.
It is.
It's basically Weekend at Bernie's where it's these two brothers and they have to carry around like a pair of legs that they put like a big fake dummy on top of. That's just like wobbling around. The legs don't know where they're going and they have to pretend like he's a normal regular guy at all times. It's very weird that they decided to go that direction with this premise.
Yeah, I thought it was very weird too because like when you see like the teaser and everything, and you're like, Onward, you think, oh, these two brothers are gonna go on like a giant epic journey. It's like, they kind of do.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of journey we were expecting, but it still works.
I would say that the journey actually does completely fit, but I would say the thing that we really didn't expect was their traveling companion. Because you were not expecting the entire time, like, if you take the legs out of this, you take the leg dad out of this movie, and it's just these two guys going out there on this adventure to find a way to resurrect their dad for one day. Okay, that actually, that sounds like perfect. but then you throw in the wacky, like, just dangly, nudie legs just kicking around the whole time. It's like, what? This is so weird. I mean, the jokes actually do kind of work. The jokes with the legs actually kind of work.
Yeah, like, there's actually, like, they reference a few things, like... Barley has, like, a few memories of his dad because, like, he was so little when he died, but, like, he remembers, like, tapping on his dad's foot. Yeah. And that's how he was able to, like, communicate.
They're able to communicate with just the legs. I was like, yeah, that's pretty smart. Like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying, like, they don't make the legs work, but it's kind of like when you saw Up, and then suddenly they got to the island, and it was like, why is there a big bright bird just goofily walking around this entire time with us? Like, we were following the story about, like, the old man getting along with the kid, and okay, there's a talking dog, and, well, all right, so that's a thing in there, too. Okay, now the giant bird's in here, too. It kind of reminded me of that, except not quite to that extent. I will admit, I'm not the fan of Up that everyone else is, because that film, it does feel like, okay, so you got this story here, and you're going to take that story and put it with big goofy bird walking around. What? Yeah, this film has a little bit of that, but it fits way better in my opinion. So, as we said, they do go on this big mythical journey, and what I really dug about this is that it kind of follows the beats of all these, like, mythical journeys. In fact, there are many moments in there in which Barley is saying, like, oh, no, you don't want to go that way, because in the adventure of this, the people went that way, and it didn't go that way that they wanted to. What you gotta do is you gotta go on the path that no one ever takes, this path over here. And it's the kind of things that you would expect in a big fantasy story of somebody going out there on a big mystical quest. But, rather than going to, you see this in the trailer, so it's not much of a spoiler, but rather than going to the tavern to get their quest, they go to the tavern, and then it turns out the tavern is a TGI Fridays. Yeah. So it's gags like that, or, they have to run into a band of marauders, but the band of marauders is like a biker gang. It's okay, yeah. They actually found a way to take the beats of a mythical quest and set it in a real-world style setting. But a real-world style setting that still has all the elements of a mythical quest. It's actually kind of ingenious, I thought, how they were able to weave these two different tones together so incredibly well. And that works, that's kind of something that defines this film, is how they're able to take many different styles and work them together. Because this actually might be, to me, the funniest Pixar film that I've seen in a while. Because the last couple of Pixar films I've seen, like, they've been big and emotional, but I didn't get a lot of laughs out of them. Like, Toy Story 4, yeah, it was definitely funny. And I got laughs out of Ducky and Bunny. Yeah, Ducky and Bunny definitely gave me some laughs, but didn't get many laughs aside from that. It was more about, like, the story of what was going on with Woody. In this one, yeah, I laughed a pretty decent amount in here. And it's because of the creativity that went into how they formed all these jokes in this very unique setting. Other than something that I was talking to you about, and I don't know if you quite agree with me on it or not. I think we had some different opinions on this, but I also think this is probably the best animated Pixar film that I've seen in a while. Simply because of how expressive everyone was. There's, Pixar, they have a lot of expressive characters, obviously, but when it came to this film, like the Manticore, just like the way that, like, her eyebrows would go up and down, like the big, like, sloshing animation of her moving around that big furry body of hers, just how quickly it moved around, how many different parts of her were working together. Yeah, it really impressed me constantly. Yeah,
it was nice. It was like, actually, like, we were sitting next to, like, two other people who were, like, discussing the animation.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that. Okay.
No, but it's, like, it's very interesting. It's, like, they were saying, like, how Pixar has a bigger budget for their animated films than Disney, which I feel like is why Pixar movies are often, like, more expensive and, like, have more, like, better animation than Disney movies.
Yeah.
Disney 3D movies.
Yeah, I remember afterwards, I was saying, like, yeah, this might be their best one because Pixar typically goes with humanoid characters, and this one had so many wild, crazy characters in there, and you're like, no, Pixar typically goes with, like, animals or toys or stuff. And yeah. Like, oh, right, I'm thinking of Disney.
Yeah, like the Disney 3D movies, like Tangled, Frozen, Moana, like, basically, like, the princess movies and everything, but it's like, and, like, I know a lot of people, like, give those movies, like, shit for, like, using, like, the same face and everything. Yep. So it's like, oh, bless you.
I was holding that in for, like, the last 5 minutes. If it looked like my eyes were watering up, it wasn't because I was thinking about this movie and how sad and emotional it was. It was because, like, I was pushing that sneeze back.
But yeah, it's like, Pixar always like did like more variety with their characters, and I always appreciated that.
Yes, and this film has a ton of variety to their character designs, and I thought it was great. Although speaking of the emotional stuff in here, it is a Pixar film, and this is about a son trying to reconnect with their dad, who they haven't spoken with in a long, who they never got to meet.
Like, one of them never saw his dad. The other one like hasn't seen him.
Has like 3 or 4 memories.
Like 3 or 4 memories of him. So
yeah, and I mean like they let you know in the beginning they don't say what it was, but he died of a disease, and it's like. Yeah, that's not like a matter. He wasn't like crushed by a troll or anything.
No, it wasn't anything magical or like.
And yeah, you better believe there's gonna be some moments where they talk about stuff like that. And that's another thing that I respect about Pixar. They will come up with a big, fantastical landscape, and then they will hit you with a really down-to-earth, realistic, serious thing. And this film, again, it's crazy how well they were able to balance that stuff. I will say that. This does kind of follow the trend of a lot of Pixar films where it's got, it's got some messages in there, but it's mostly just kind of like lighthearted, adventurous fun. It's not until you get to like the last 5 minutes that suddenly they hit you in the gut. But I gotta admit, the last 5 minutes they hit me in the gut. And yeah, this film really won me. Like, I was enjoying it. I was enjoying it all the way throughout, but I was like, yeah, it's fine.
And then that ending is like, oof.
Bam! I'm sorry, were you using this? Rip. The ending of this film I thought was great, and I think that the message at the end of this thing, I was really impressed with that. Pixar really does know how to come in here and come up with some messages that I think that a lot of other animated films would not have the guts to tell. I have congratulated them on that many times before. Like Monsters, not Monsters Inc., but
Monsters University.
Yeah, ever since Monsters University, I have been applauding Pixar because like the point of Monsters University was coming here and go, hey man, sometimes your dreams aren't going to come true. And that's okay because there's still other things you can do. And I just thought, what children's film has a message like that? What children's film has a message of, no, there are some things you can't do, and it sucks. But you can do other things, and those will be good. I was like, that's actually a really healthy message to put into a kid's film. I mean, not all the time, but yeah, I thought that was really impressive. And ever since then, I feel like we've seen a lot of Pixar films, like Inside Out, Toy Story 4. All these films just kind of had messages that you wouldn't typically expect to find in a kid's film. And this one, it's safer than those other messages, but it still really impressed me in here what they did at the end. We will get into that in the spoiler section. Anything else that you want to cover before we get into the spoiler section?
I really like Barley. Like, I was worried that he was going to be like the dumb, fat, like stereotypical, annoying sidekick, but it's like he actually turned out to be like a really good character.
He's a great character, and I'm glad that you brought that up because when we went into this, I opened this thing up by saying, yeah, he's kind of the stereotypical Dungeons and Dragons nerd, where he's the grown guy still living in his parents' basement. Which, hey, man, it's in the 2000s. There's nothing to be ashamed about that.
Like his mom mentioned that it was a gap year.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why he's home for now. Who knows what he'll do later on? But
he's one of those guys that's like, why are you spending all your time studying this useless stuff? But in this world, it actually does. He's kind of a history buff, as we said. And yeah, we had that fear that he was going to be that big, annoying character that we see in all these films that ever try and do a character like this. You can tell that this movie was made by those people because they treated him right. And they do some stereotypical jokes in there, like his relationship with his car. That's stuff that I've seen in a lot of films like this. But that leads up to a great moment in here. The car has such a wonderful payoff in here. I was really impressed by this film. And I think that the treatment of Barley was great. I
also like the Manticores.
The Manticore I wish we had more of because she was so good.
Big characters with big personalities, it's just...
You know how sometimes Pixar will give, one of the supporting characters in one of their movies, a little short before another movie? The Manticore deserves to have her own, little short or something.
Speaking of which, there was a Simpsons short in front of this.
Oh, yeah, okay. I didn't know if we should talk about that.
I don't know about that either, but I feel like maybe we should since,
It literally happens before the movie comes on, so it's... Typically, I say if it happens in the first 5 minutes, it doesn't count as a spoiler. but this happened before the movie even began. And I can tell you, out of everything that happened in here, the Simpsons short had my jaw dropped more than anything else, because it starts off with the Mickey Mouse logo coming up. I was like, oh, okay, are they going to do a Mickey Mouse short movie? I haven't seen one of those in forever. I didn't know they even still did it. And then the silhouette fades away to reveal it's 2 donuts in Homer's face, and he eats them. I just went, okay. And then it launches into a full-on Maggie Simpson short, and my jaw was just... because it's so weird.
Yeah, it's weird that Disney now owns The Simpsons
and
now.
everything else. But it's not just that they own The Simpsons, it's that they own The Simpsons, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna put like an animated short for The Simpsons in front of our Pixar film. It's so crazy. It would be like if this is not gonna happen, but if like Disney bought DC Comics or something, and then you had a Batman short come on before your next Spider-Man movie. It's like, no, those don't fit together at all. What? These are separate worlds. Separate worlds.
I guess so, but like it reminds me of like when they did the Roger Rabbit short in front of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah, but wasn't that the same studio?
Might have been, but it's like the 2 different tones.
Oh, 2 different tones. Okay, yeah, that's still okay. I got you there. But yeah, this is still just it's so bizarre. Like, my jaw was literally dropped open. I'm using literally correctly there, by the way. Because I was just looking at this thing going, this isn't happening. This is wild. This is the world we live in now.
Like, I remember there was like another Simpsons short, like Maggie goes to like daycare or something. Like,
I remember that too, but wasn't that before like the Simpsons movie or something?
Yeah, I think it was. I'm trying to. I don't.
But yeah, exactly. Not before a Pixar film. It's so strange to me. Yeah. So that was wild. But I gotta say, that's one of the best Simpsons things I've seen in years now. At this point. Listen, I hate that Disney owns everything now too, but I can't not give them credit on this one. That was a good Simpsons short. I don't want to admit that, but I will. It was a good Simpsons short. Yeah, wow. If that's just what you want, if you want to just cancel The Simpsons and just have that be what The Simpsons are from now on,
okay. I'm fine with that. It's entertaining.
Okay, yeah. I don't want to say fine, but fine. Yeah, wow.
All right, so back to the actual movie.
Yes. Also, I really like the mom. I think the mom was great.
Yeah, I like that they're like the mother figures actually had like an important role in this, even though
that's how we know it's not a Disney film. Where's the lie?
And ironically, it's the father that's not really there.
Yes. And man, again, just talking about Ian, you can feel how much this kid wanted to meet his dad. But I also like that this isn't one of those things where like the mom is just pushed aside because only the dad matters. No, the mom matters in this.
Yeah, it's like they actually like left a note for her saying like BRB we'll be right back with a big surprise, and it's like that's them going on to like get their father back, and they were hoping they could bring him back in time for him to see his wife and everything.
Yeah.
So and then she finds out, it's like, oh no, and then she goes out after them.
So you're following like 3 different people in here, and yeah, there's a lot of like really nice smaller supporting characters in here. Like I like the cop who's dating the mom.
Yeah,
I like
Centaur cop.
Yeah, I like the relationship that he has with him, and the relationship that he has with Chris Pratt's character. I forgot the name, Barley.
Barley.
Yeah, like because it's a good representation of like how Chris Pratt fits into this world, because as we said, Barley is obsessed with the age of magic and wonder, and everybody else just doesn't care about that. There's like a moment at the beginning of this where he's going, back in the old days, centaurs could run up to 700 miles an hour. And then he just goes, I have a car. I don't have to run. There is one small kind of problem I have where like you see the centaur in the car, and yeah, he has to like squeeze himself back in there.
Yeah, it's like
make a centaur car.
Yeah, like that's
make a centaur.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of like Zootopia, like how they had like specific like buildings and like cars and everything for different animals.
Yeah,
it's like why couldn't they have done that in this world?
Yeah, like, it kind of drove me a little bit nuts that they didn't do that.
Yeah, but it's like it was just like a small thing. So.
It's small. It would have been like that nice little like cherry on top. It's like there's no cherry on top. But yeah, I do like the character designs. There's a couple of characters that look a little too similar to me, but they're like background characters.
Yeah, they're background characters, so they don't really count.
They don't really count. Yeah.
Oh, should we talk about the
cop?
Yep.
Yeah. The one, yeah, that one, the one that Disney was giving themselves a pat on the back so hard for, they probably broke their wrist. Yeah, the moment that Disney came out and said, we are proud to introduce our first openly gay Pixar character, and I looked at that and just went, that's going to be a character that is on screen for max of 5 minutes, have only a handful of lines, and will never be seen again. And like the statement about them being gay will be like one quick throwaway line, check, 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 just going down that,
Yeah.
Which, the thing is, I looked at this character, because what it is that the character at one point just says, oh yeah, my girlfriend, and that's all that is. And she's in it for one scene, and has like 5 lines in that scene, that is it. And I looked at it and went, you know what, if you didn't come in here and try and like give yourself a medal for this character, it would have been one of those things that people like walked away from like, oh, it's kind of neat as I did.
Yeah, and like Paranorman, where like they didn't like make a big deal over their openly gay character. But
well, in all fairness, that they used his gayness as a like
a plot point.
Not a plot point, but as a twist.
A twist, yes.
Because there's a gay character in Paranorman who's there for the entire film. But it's the character that Norman's sister is trying to hook up with. Spoilers for Paranorman. That Norman's sister is trying to hook up with. And then at the end, when it's revealed he's gay, it's like, oh, I wasted all my time for nothing on this. It was like, yeah, which the whole, like, they're gay as a twist thing, that's got its own bag of problems in there. But yeah, Paranorman still didn't come in there and go like, yeah, we had a gay character in here for the entire thing. They were just like, yeah, it's a gay character. They exist in this film. Disney, again, small ass side character. Like, they announced that they're going to censor that in Russia. I went, oh, I know they're going to.
Or China or whatever. Like,
yeah. Which I know they're going to censor it in other countries. Because it's one line. It's, oh, yeah, my girlfriend. That's it. Like, just go in there and just, bam, just have them, like, redub that line. Like, even in America, you could cut that line out. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Jesus, dude, come on now.
The fact that they removed Love, Simon from Disney Plus.
Oh, that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
That is some bullshit. The fact that they did that and then, like, at the same time, are patting themselves on the back
it's like,
for this character.
No, you don't do that. No.
That is such horseshit. And the thing that gets me is, like, here's the thing. I don't blame anyone at Pixar for this. Because you know the people at Pixar, like, they're artsy people. You know that they want this stuff in the movies. You know that they had to fight and struggle just to get this in the film. Yeah, they had to work their ass off just to get that past Disney. And then Disney comes in and is like, yeah, aren't we great for allowing that in? It's like, no, like, dude, none of us are buying this. We know you, Disney, the big corporation, was trying to tell the people who wanted this character in there, no. And then the moment that got in, it was like, yes, good for us. Like, fuck you. We know that's what happened. It's just amazing to me that, like, so many other forms of entertainment out there haven't just passed Disney on this issue. They fucking lapped Disney.
Oh, yeah.
And, Jesus. And Disney is coming in here applying themselves for doing the bare minimums.
Like, no.
It's like, yeah, dude, listen, I'll admit, there was a time in my life where if, like, a character like this had been in a Disney film, I would be like, oh, wow, I can't believe that. Wow, good for Disney. That was like 20 years ago when I would have been okay with that. It ain't 20 years ago, and this is way too little, way too late. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The thing is, I'm not kidding you. I am not kidding you about this. Disney patted themselves on the back so hard for that character. And that character is so unimportant to the plot. And so here for so little. I kept thinking this had to be a fake out. I kept thinking that had to be a fake out. And then at the end of this, like, Ian was going to be revealed to be gay. Or Ian or Parley, like, one of those two was going to be revealed to be gay. Because they were patting themselves so hard on the back for that one character that I was like, this has to be a fake out. This has to be like they knew that people were going to be pissed that they, like, patted themselves so hard on the back for so little. And that then in the end they would come in here and reveal that Ian was gay the whole time and just be like, oh, what, you know what, Disney, you got me. Oh, okay, Disney, you actually did have a positive, like, gay character who was here for the entire film. Like, okay, wow. It's like, nope. I gave Disney Disney, like, failed so hard on this that I tried to give them credit in my mind to justify it. And no.
Yeah, like, I was kind of hoping, like, maybe, like, the mom and the Manticore would hook up. Like, the mom would be, like, bisexual or something. But that's just me.
There was, like, no hints of that. And you're like, Ian, like, Ian, at least there's like no hints. Well, both Ian and Barley, there's never any hints of like we're getting really into this, but there's like never any hints of like,
their sexuality,
what their sexuality could be. So that could totally work out. But I'm not gonna get into it.
Yeah, like, okay, now that situation has been talked about.
Yeah. I mean, like, I knew it was gonna come up with something.
Yeah, eventually.
But it's like, it's exactly what everyone knew it was going to be the second they saw it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like, nope, you are giving yourself a medal for coming in last place on this one, Disney. It's weird to go into scores after talking about that because that was a big thing to complain about. That's not complaining about this film. That's complaining about Disney.
Yeah.
And that is a weird thing about Disney is that when you talk about their films, you almost have to separate the company from the film because Disney, big evil corporation that's doing messed up stuff, makes good movies.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you have to like separate the artist from the artwork because the artist.
Which is always a weird thing to me. Which is like I feel like this is even further removed from this. I didn't want to get into any of this. I thought this was gonna be a short review, but yeah, separating the artist from the art to me is always one of those things that's like, yeah, it's kind of hard to do that because I feel like when you combine the artist and the art, you get a completely different interpretation of the art because you can see how they put their own emotional baggage into the film, and that's kind of important to interpreting the film in some ways. Whereas when it comes to the company and because that's the other thing. Disney is not the artist. Disney is the company that forked out cash to the artist on this one.
Disney, the artist, died long ago.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to this, it's like, that's not really separating the art from the artist. That is more of like, okay, what was the roadblock the artist had to get past in order to put their art out there? So, yeah, I didn't want to get into any of that, but I'm going to give this movie like an 8.5 because I was going to give it like a 7.5 or an 8, and then again, the end, bam! That big emotional gut punch.
Yeah, for me, it's a solid B, an 8. So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. 8.5, like we're right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like going by letters, I'm a B+.
Yeah, I would say so.
B+. We might switch over to doing letters, because honestly, that's better.
I don't know if like letters or numbers are better. It's hard to say.
Yeah, well, we might switch over to letters from now on. I've been thinking about that for a while, but okay, now we're going to get into the spoiler part of this, and for anybody out there who hasn't seen the film, which by the way, we saw a sneak preview of this a week ago.
Yeah, on leap year, leap day.
On leap day. So we know that most people out there have not seen this at the time I'm uploading this video. So typically, I feel pretty safe in coming in here and giving everybody that time to tune out, knowing that a lot of people watching this review have already seen it. But there you go. There's your break to tune out. I gave you a nice long break on this one. Okay, so yeah, the big spoiler in this thing is that at the end of this,
well, there's a curse that they have to,
that's not the important part of this.
Yeah, I guess not,
no,
but it's like
the important part of this is that at the end of this, there is, of course, the all is lost moment where Barley and Ian, they turn on each other and they've almost run out of time because since they resurrected half the dad at the beginning of this, they have only 24 hours to resurrect the rest of him because at the end of that, all of him goes away. And it gets to that point where it's like, oh, all is lost. Barley, you screwed up so bad. We are never going to find Dad. This is all just, it's all lost. So Ian walks away, and he made this list of all the things he wants to do with his dad. And as he was sitting there with his dad's leg, he's going down the list, and he's like, no, I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to do that. I didn't get to do that. And then he gets to learn to drive. And there's a moment in the film where Barley is teaching Ian how to drive. And then he's like, okay, I guess I did that one. And then he starts going back up the list, and he's like, wait, I did that one with Barley. I did that one with Barley. I did that one with Barley. And then he slowly starts having these flashbacks to when they were kids, and he has that realization, yeah, he always wanted to meet his dad. It was very important to him to meet his dad, but he realized he might not have had dad, but he had his brother. His brother was there for him.
Yeah.
And that's when it was like really hitting me hard. And there was another moment earlier on in this film in which Barley keeps saying he only has 3 memories of his dad. But then later on he says, yeah, it'll be great to have more than 4 memories of my dad. I was like, wait, 4? Oh yeah, I don't like to talk about the other one. And he mentions how when dad was dying, his mom told him to go say goodbye to him. And he tried going into the room, but his dad was hooked up to all these tubes, and he just didn't even look like himself anymore. Which we talked about how this film gets real.
Yeah.
When it gets to the sick part, it's like, holy shit.
Yeah. It's like, oh, dang. Like,
yeah. That, man. Which, by the way, Chris Pratt in 2 different Disney films has now played the person who had to say goodbye to their parent while they were dying of cancer. Yeah, that's, wow. He's kind of being, like, really stuck in that one role.
Except in this movie, he actually hugs his dad instead of punches him in the face.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, at the end of this, there is a curse and it forms this big dragon, which the dragon design is great. I'm not going to ruin that for you guys. But it's one of those things that as soon as I saw it, as soon as like they got the warning about the dragon was, and they get back to where that dragon was seen originally in the film, I went, oh, smart. Yeah, there comes this moment where the dragon is coming at them and they're able to resurrect Dad, but only for, like, he's only got like 30 seconds left or something.
Yeah, before sunset.
Before sunset, and he fades away again. And
like, Ian has to fight off the dragon while, like, Barley is there. Like,
and that's the thing, is that Barley's like, I'll go and distract him while you get to go and meet your dad. And he goes, I never knew Dad, but you never got to say goodbye to Dad. I'll distract the dragon. You go say goodbye to Dad, because I might not have had Dad, but I had you. And I was like,
yeah.
Oh my, like,
yeah.
I'm literally getting that tingly feeling again, just describing the scene that I got in there. And I went, again, you talk about how Pixar will come in here with like a message that another animated film would not have been willing to do. I was impressed, and I was just so impressed with that. Because so many other films, like, they would have done the stereotypical thing of, yeah, I get to see Dad, we're going to hang out. Or, like, another film would have done the thing where they resurrect the top half of the dad, and, oh no, time's up. And now they have the top half of the dad for a day, and they just get to hang out with him and talk to the top half of the dad. Like, I thought that's what they were going to do. No, they did not. They went in there, and they, like, gave Barley, like, a quick little moment to say hi to the dad. I was like, man, that, like, really hit me hard. I was blown away by that scene. Also, at the end of this, like, I didn't want to really talk about too much, but we talked about how the mom really plays a role in here. At the end of this, when they're fighting off the dragon, it's not just Ian fighting off the dragon. No. The mom gets in there too.
Yeah,
and
the mom and the manticore.
Yeah, like. The manticore is badass. By the way, that fight scene.
Like her sword is named like the Curse Crusher.
And it's this big kick-ass sword. I love the pawn shop they went to for that thing. The lady who ran the pawn shop, when we talk about the good character design here, that lady who runs the pawn shop, man, she jumped out to me. Yeah, but yeah, the mom runs in there, and it's not one of those things where the mom is just a badass. Like, they set it up early in this film. Like, Barley constantly goes in there and tries to, like, get Ian in a headlock. He's like, yeah, come on, show me that you're a mighty warrior. And then he does it to the mom, and the mom flips him over and is like, yeah, so you know the mom is kind of badass. And you see, like, her training with home aerobics classes. But the home aerobics classes are all like, yeah, tell me who's a mighty warrior. So at the end, when she's like doing the steps and stuff to get up to the back of the dragon, like, all right, you set up. Way to set this stuff up. Way to go. I'm always impressed whenever you can set things up for a conclusion in a film. I know it's an easy thing and all films should do it, but when you actually do, it still impresses me.
Yeah, and to do it well.
Yes. And yeah, I thought this film did that pretty darn well. So yeah, there's nothing else really about the spoilers I want to talk about.
It's like, what I liked about this movie is, like, originally you thought this was going to be like about a son bonding with his dad, but it ends up being two brothers bonding with each other.
Two brothers bonding, yeah.
And I really appreciate that. You don't really see that a lot in, like, especially kids movies.
Yeah, I can't think of the last time they have.
I mean, I was trying to think of, like, Big Hero 6, but, like, spoiler for that one, the big brother dies, like,
yeah.
Exactly. So it's not like you could, like, bond with someone who isn't there, you know?
Well,
I mean, yeah.
It's a complicated
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, I was really impressed with that because you're right. I can't really think of another film out there that's so much about just brothers bonding.
Yeah, I mean, like, we have Frozen. That's about sisters bonding.
Which even that was rare.
Yeah.
I remember when that film came out, everybody was pointing out that it was like, yeah, when's the last time you saw a film that's just about sisters bonding? So I'm glad we now got one that's about brothers bonding. I think that's an important thing. So yeah, I really did enjoy that. Trying to think about anything else that we want to say about that. But going along with that same theme, I also really enjoy any film out there where it's one of those things of it doesn't really matter whether or not you have your dad or your mom. What matters is that you have someone there for you, and you recognize that someone is there for you as you're growing up, someone there who's important to you. It doesn't matter if it's your brother, your grandparents, a neighbor, or, someone out there, but someone out there who helps you to grow up, and this film is really a message about that, and I enjoy that as well.
So another thing I like about this movie is the title is Onward. So you think onward onto an epic quest, but it's no, it's about moving onward in your life.
Yes. It does play two roles in there. Yeah, anything else you want to talk about?
Do you want to talk about the gelatinous cube?
Yeah, I don't play Dungeons and Dragons. I did do I do one on someone's podcast, but that's the first time I've ever done. And they kept mentioning a gelatinous cube in here as the big threat. And at the end credits of this, we sat all the way through the credits. And at the end credits, it says that we want to thank Wizards of the Coast for allowing us to use the gelatinous cube. I went, that's an actual thing in Dungeons and Dragons. I know big, ooze monsters are things in Dungeons and Dragons. The big, ooze thing that just devours everything. It's got, bones and stuff inside. I know that's a thing in Dungeons and Dragons. It's actually just called the gelatinous cube. That's the name for it? Really?
Okay, then.
All right, fine. I've used Magic the Gathering cards that had dumber names, sure. It's just weird to me. But yeah, I think there's a lot of things that
I think so,
yeah,
too.
So, very good movie. It's another strong Pixar film. Not one of their best, but definitely has some
very, very good. Definitely
very good. It
definitely lives up to the Pixar standards.
It is what you would expect from a Pixar film. Yes. But yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in. I don't know what comes out next week. I don't even know if any movies are going to be playing in theaters next week because everything is getting delayed now because of the coronavirus. So maybe we'll review Castlevania Season 3?
Maybe.
Who knows? Just come back then. We'll figure something out for next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.